YouTube world, back at it once again. Instant Classic 8. Hello. I did a preview and now I'm doing a review. Can you believe it? It would be weird if I didn't do a review of the show because I was very excited for the show going in, and then post show I'm even more excited about what's going on and everything involved with it. So I definitely feel the need to come on here and talk about it. We're talking about All In. It's weird that there's no like affiliation with the show, so it's not like Ring of Honor is All In, New Japan's All In, or whomever. You just type in All In. It's like, even like when you go online, I mean, you could probably, at least today, you could probably just Google All In and it'll probably bring up that. But before, you had to Google like All In pay-per-view or All In wrestling, and then, it's for it to pop up. But now that it's happened and everyone has seen the show, it's a little bit bigger than what it was before, and I can say that overall, at least for me, this is my show of the year. Was it the best wrestling show? No, 100% it was not. And hopefully I don't say 100%. Apparently that's a new thing that I have going on. I say that a lot lately. Hopefully I don't say that a lot, and hopefully I don't lose my voice like I did last video. But I don't feel like this was the best wrestling show off the top of my head. It wasn't better than New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion. It wasn't better than NXT TakeOver New Orleans. It wasn't better than NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. I would probably have to put it at that fourth spot, at least on as far as like the wrestling goes. But at least for me, what I feel was the overall show of the year. And people can call biased and whatnot, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. It doesn't really bother me if you call it biased, but for me, yeah, this was the show. This was the show of the year. I fully enjoyed, from the opening bell to the ending bell, this entire show. I don't think there was anything bad on here. There was a lot of surprises, a lot of interesting things to come off of this, and then just overall what this show represented. A change of the guard. And honestly, I shouldn't say change of the guard, because the WWE, they're not going anywhere. They're always going to be the top dog. But it's all about the, what do you say? The basically just having something else to watch, the alternatives of wrestling. And this is what tonight represented, or that night. I'm recording this on Labor Day, so it's about 2 days after All In aired. And yeah, man, I fully enjoyed the show, and the people that were there, everyone seemed like they had a good time. I'm definitely excited for that. I wish I could have been in the building, but things come up. But I still had an awesome time watching from home. As far as watching from home, I ordered this show on Fight TV. There were hiccups pretty frequently, I would say. When the show first started, I had an issue. I didn't even see the national anthem. I started to watch this again. I just got home. I started to watch this again, but I felt like I should just give my raw opinion on it without having to go through the show a second time. But yeah, I completely missed the completely missed the national anthem. But that was really good. It was really well done, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I just, as far as the Fight TV stream, I had a lot of issues during the, once that it cleared up at the beginning, I didn't really have much issues. I unfortunately had to watch this on my Mac. I wasn't able to put it like on a TV, and I didn't have my Apple TV with me, so I had to watch this on the Mac. I felt like, I've never, this is I think I look back on it, my seventh show ordering off of Fight, between pretty much ROH shows I've ordered in the past. I never had an issue before, but I guess just, so many people ordering the show, I don't know if like the server just got overloaded, but, I had issues, like I said, at the beginning, and then the most, at least throughout the night, that I had was during the Joey Janela and Hangman Page match. But other than that, it was fine. A good quality feed. Like I said, I'm excited to go back and watch and see, the little bit of things that I missed. But overall, I didn't have an issue paying the $39.99. I know this was on pay-per-view. I was at my mom's house. I checked. She has like Spectrum, I think it is, and she has it was like $35.99. And then I think if you got it on Honor Club, it was either free if you pay for the VIP, or if you just pay for like the regular monthly subscription, it was $20. But I've trusted in Fight, and they always give you credits towards new and upcoming shows. So I always trusted with them. Again, they had some hiccups, but not enough to deteriorate me from the show completely. So that was the way that I ordered. Being at my mom's house for the weekend, I don't have WGN America at my house. I use DirecTV Now. That's my service that I use. She still has Spectrum, the whole internet pack, or the whole cable package. So she actually had WGN America. So I was able to check out the what do you call it? The All-In 0 Hour. The first match, SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky versus the Briscoe brothers. I thought this was a really entertaining match. It went a little bit longer than I thought it would be. The finish was really awesome. The Briscoes were going for their Doomsday Device, and Frankie Kazarian kind of countered it into like a power slam or like a belly to belly. And then as he was going for the pin, Scorpio Sky came out of nowhere and I guess Jay Briscoe gave him like a running knee, and it was just a really cool finish, and they ended up winning the match. So I guess they're going to be in line for a Ring of Honor tag team title match going down in the future, but I still thought it was really good. You had the Over the Budget Battle Royal. I mean, you guys know everybody that was in it. As far as like who I thought showed out, let's see, Marco Stunt was in there, who I've heard his name for like the past month, but I never got a chance to see it. You guys are seeing a text message. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, I've heard his name over the past month or so since the Joey Janela show, and he's a really small guy for sure. But I thought he had a decent showing with him and Bully Ray. You had Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn, his son, which I've never heard of him before. They were doing the whole DX thing, and I thought it was pretty entertaining. I didn't really have any issues with it. Jimmy Jacobs, who pulled off, what did Jimmy Jacobs do? He did some WWE. Oh, he did the Five Knuckle Shuffle. I forgot who he did it on, but he did the Five Knuckle Shuffle, and then he was setting up for Do the Pedigree. He waved at the camera. It was basically like High Hunter, but it got foiled, unfortunately. You had Brian Cage, who had an interesting showing out. The spot that I thought was the best, or at least not the best, but the most intriguing, was Brian Cage and Punishment Martinez. They had a stare down, being the two of the biggest guys in the match. It's like that whole old school WWE mentality where the big guys just stare each other down, and the crowd's supposed to pop forward. But of course, the crowd's not. We don't really care too much about the big guys these days. But the funny thing was, they stared each other down, and then the next thing you know, they're doing little guy stuff where they're doing head scissors takeovers and Hurricane Ranas and tilt-a-whirl slams, and I was just like, oh my god, it was just it was really cool to see. I thought the match started off sloppy before, ahead of time, at least early on, but I thought it ended really well. You had Jordan Grace. She was kind of standing on the outside for a while, but she got a little bit of shine near the end. I think she was like one of the last 4 people in the match. She had a nice little spot with Brian Cage, where she actually ended up power bombing him in the middle of the ring. You had Colt Cabana in there, who's like the hometown guy being in Chicago. You had Bully Ray in there, who pretty much got the most heat of anybody that was on the show. I think even more than more than I forgot his name. Nick Aldis got more heat, heel heat than Nick Aldis. But it came down to, I want to say, Colt Cabana and Bully Ray. I could be wrong on this, but either way, Bully Ray ended up throwing someone out, and then in came in, God, who was it? What did they go by? They went by, I don't know, the mask guy, but he's been on being the Elite in the last couple of weeks. But either way, it was Flip Gordon. Flip Gordon ended up winning the the Over the Budget Battle Royal. He got the ROH title match later on. So I mean, I thought it was really interesting. Like I said, it started off sloppy, but at the end of it, I thought it was really cool. I enjoyed it. Then you went on to the pay-per-view, Matt Cross versus MJF. This was a match that wasn't advertised. M-Dog Matt Cross, I mean, we've seen him for years, so he's awesome. MJF, I believe this is my first time seeing him, and I thought the match was entertaining. I don't know if this was necessary. I mean, it was cool that they put it on there just to give those guys a little bit of shine, a little bit of, I won't say shock value, but just cool that they were able to go on there and be able to show their skills without being advertised. Matt Cross was able to win the match, and M-Dog was able to win the match. So I mean, it was a cool opener. Like I said, it was a little bit of a surprise, but I still thought it was a cool opener. Then you had Chris Daniels versus Stephen Amell. Stephen Amell being from Arrow. I don't know Stephen Amell, anything else that he's done. I haven't looked at his filmography, but I do know he's from Arrow, and Arrow is a really popular show. I have a lot of friends who watch it. So I try to tell them, like, yo, this dude is going to be wrestling. So I try to tell them about this match. As far as the match goes, it was okay. It was probably the least entertaining match on the show. Stephen Amell, he went for broke. There was a spot where Chris Daniels was laying on the outside on a table, and he jumped from the top rope in the ring onto the outside table, and he crashed and burned. Chris Daniels moved out of the way, but it was still an impressive thing to see him do. I mean, like I said, I appreciate the guys who try out. I mean, because I've never tried to get into the ring, so seeing these guys who want to give it a shot and try things out was really impressive. Again, like I said, he didn't look all that great, but I still give him props for being able to get in the ring. Chris Daniels ended up winning. I believe he won with the best moonsault ever. And like I said, it was all right match. You know, I thought it could have been a little bit better, but I mean, what are you gonna expect from a guy like Stephen Amell who's never? I mean, he's been in the ring, but this is like his first singles match. So, what do you expect? It went like 12 minutes though. That was crazy. It was fine. Four Corners Survival: Chelsea Green, Madison Rayne, Britt Baker, and Tessa Blanchard. Britt Baker came out to Adam Cole's old ROH music, which thankfully that music is not going to waste because it's one of the best theme songs of all of wrestling. I thought this match was really good. It started off sloppy for sure, and there were parts in there that were a little iffy, but I thought overall, I mean, I really enjoyed this match. I mean, I'm a big Tessa Blanchard fan. Like I said, going back to the old video, this is my first time really seeing Chelsea Green. I like the whole gimmick that she has on. She works really hard. Madison Rayne, who I haven't seen a match from Madison Rayne in so long, I felt like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I felt like she's improved tremendously since the last time I seen her. And then Britt Baker did a really good job as well. And I thought all four of these ladies showed out well. I'm tired of the bullshit when people joke about the female wrestlers and that they don't belong and this and that and they belong in the kitchen and blah, blah, blah. Fuck you if you say that, okay? Like, I'm all about giving these ladies a chance because they can be just as entertaining as the men can be. And I think this match proved it. Was it the best women's match I've ever seen? Absolutely not. But it was a very, very good showing by all four of these ladies. They hugged at the end. The finish was a little weird. Tessa Blanchard, I forgot the move that she went to. Tessa Blanchard actually came out with Tully Blanchard. She came out with Magnum TA. They should have put a graphic up there to give these guys a little bit of shine because I don't think anybody in the audience really knew who they were. But, you know, the commentary, they filled us in and whatnot. I forgot what she did, but she went for the pin and the girls were supposed to break it up, but I think they jumped in a little bit too quickly. But either way, you know, Tessa Blanchard ended up winning this. And like I said, I thought it was a really good showing. I think the crowd, they gave them a standing applause after this. And no, I just really enjoyed that match. Then we went to the NWA World Heavyweight Championship title match. Cody versus Nick Aldis. You had Cody come out. Cody came out with, first of all, Brandy came out there. She got her own entrance, which was really cool. And then we had like those UFC style entrances. We had Cody came out with Diamond Dallas Page. He came out with Glacier. Came out with Tommy Dreamer, and then in the back was, they said, his brother-in-law, which I don't know. I guess Dustin, some relation with that. I don't really know. But his brother-in-law and then his father-in-law, which was Brandy's father. They all came out there. They even stopped and had Pharaoh the dog, which is his dog, walked out there with them. And from what I read, he actually wasn't even supposed to bring Pharaoh completely out there, but when he heard that the crowd popped for Pharaoh, he decided to bring him out with them, and I just thought that was really awesome. This was the point in the show where I kind of lost it. Like I said in the last video, things as far as pro wrestling, they get a little bit more emotional than they were before. There's times I'm watching where I get like a teary-eyed, and it's mostly just from happiness, just being happy to see what's going on. Like, just off the top of my head, like, I remember NXT TakeOver Philly when Johnny Gargano was coming out, and I got a little teary-eyed and a little choked up because I remember seeing Johnny Gargano not 10 years ago, 8 years ago at Dragon Gate USA Enter the Dragon 2010 when he came out against Shima, and I was there in person. And then 8 years later, he's coming out for a huge championship match in front of a way bigger audience than it was that night in Philly back in 2010. You get a little emotional, you get a little choked up, but Cody came out there, and you can see as he was walking in the back, you can see he was trying to hold it together because this was a big deal to him. And then he came out on the stage and he walked out and he stopped in the middle of the ramp, and you can see just kind of looking around. DDP's just kind of sitting there consoling him. Tommy Dreamer's consoling him, and I lost it. It wasn't even teary-eyed. Like, I started to shed tears watching this because I was so happy that not only were they able to do this, but the fact that we're getting something just, I don't know. Like, it's nice to be appreciated as a fan. And I'm not just sitting here and trying to be like entitled, like, oh, fold my arms up, like you owe me this and that. But, we spend hard money on this. Like, I didn't have to spend the $40 on this show. I didn't have to. I don't have to spend the $150 to go to Madison Square Garden. I don't have to spend the $250 to go to Manias for 4 years out of 5 or whatever I went to. I don't have to do that, but the fact that I do, and then you appreciate me for doing so, and you want to give me the best possible show, that right there puts me in a different level than what I can be with other wrestling shows. So yeah, I started to absolutely shed tears, and I'm just really happy for this guy. And he gets in the ring, and he's celebrating. The fans are chanting Cody, and it's just an amazing moment. Like, if anything, the $39.99 that I spent for the show, to see that entrance, and I can't wait to go back to watch it again after I finish recording this, was absolutely worth it, 100%. So you had those guys come out. They had their fight jackets on. They all had like matching gear on. Then you had Magnus come. I keep calling Magnus. I'm sorry. You had Nick Aldis come out. He had who do you have? He had Jeff Jarrett, who's been an NWA champion. He's had Sean Daivari, Tim Storm, who was the previous NWA champion. Tim Storm, the only reason I know about him is because of the 10 Pounds of Gold series that's on YouTube, which I highly recommend. My guy Dave Lagana, he does all that stuff, and he does a fantastic job with that. So it's the only reason I know about Tim Storm. So Tim Storm, Samuel Shaw, Sean Daivari, who else was there? Jeff Jarrett. They all come out with like the suits, and it's just a real nice contrast of what Cody brought to the table. And this felt like a huge deal, man. Like the NWA championship in my mind has been dead ever since, what was it, Sacrifice 2007. I remember a couple days beforehand, they had that video with Dave Marquez. I think I'm saying his name right, where he was like, I don't know, but basically the NWA was not recognizing Christian Cage as or he was either Christian or Kurt Angle, I forgot, but they were like, we're not recognizing this TNA champion as the NWA champion anymore. We strip him of that, and we're doing our own thing. And ever since then, for me, the NWA championship has been dead. And I know they came back with the NWA from Hollywood a couple years after that, but it wasn't anything. I mean, I watched a couple episodes, but it just was not anything. This is the biggest that the NWA Championship has felt in well over 10 years. And it was because of guys like Nick Aldis, and it was because of guys like Cody. And shout out to Billy Corgan, shout out to Dave Lagana, shout out to everybody that, that were able to bring this title to more prestige than it was before. And this match was really good. Like I think this was probably the most I was into a match. You had Earl Hebner out there refereeing the match. It basically came down to the big spot, at least for me, was the fact that Cody was just out of it. He was bleeding and he was just out of it, and Nick Aldis was going, basically going for the kill to the top rope. Brandy came in. She tried to shield Cody. Nick Aldis was just basically like, fuck it. And it just came off the top rope and gave her the elbow drop in the back. And it was a huge moment. And I was kind of feeling some type of way about it. But either way, Nick Aldis went for a sunset flip. Cody kind of grabbed the legs. 1, 2, 3. New NWA champion. This was just awesome. It was a moment. It was absolutely a moment. It wasn't for the match. It wasn't for the match quality. It was for the moment. And this was an awesome moment. And like I said, just watching him come out there and seeing him hold the title that his dad held years previously, and just seeing Cody being able to be pretty much the booker of this show, being able to put all this stuff together, and just seeing everything come to fruition. It was just a complete It was a joy to see, and I cried. I absolutely cried, and big ups to Cody and everybody involved. Nick Aldis. Hopefully they can do a little bit more with this going in the future, because I very much enjoy this. So yeah, that was really awesome to see. Chicago Street Fight, Hangman Page, Joey Janela. I predicted on the previous show that I felt like this should be a hardcore match. Maybe it would turn into a hardcore match. And literally the next day they announced, hey, we're going to make this a hardcore match. So it just felt right with those two guys. Joey Janela, who came out there with Penelope Ford, who I've personally never seen before. But now after this show, she's completely memorable. She mixed it up a little bit with Hangman Page there at the end. She did crazy spots and just really awesome to see. I don't know how people feel about the man on women violence in this show. I felt like it was done. In a proper way, where it was not like tasteless, and like there was nobody out there getting strike. Even like Jordan Grace, I think the worst that she caught was a big boot to the face. I forgot who it was from, but she caught a big boot to the face. Brandy caught an elbow to the back from Nick Aldis, and then I believe Penelope Ford caught, I want to say a super kick was the most that she caught from there. But I felt like it was done in a tasteful way, where even I'm going to get a little bit uncomfortable when you see that, just because everything that goes on today, you don't want that on your product at all. You don't want man or woman violence. It's just a bad look. But I felt like this stuff was done in a tasteful way, and the stuff with Penelope Ford, the fact that she was able to get a lot of offense off on Hangman before taking the super kick or whatever she did. Again, I forget what she did, but I just thought it was done right, and I enjoyed this match. The crazy spots were Joey Janela came off the top rope to a table on the outside on Hangman Page. Hangman gave Joey a power bomb off the stage onto a table, which I think didn't even break. I think he kind of missed it a little bit, and that was a scary moment. The big spot was what does Page call that move? The end of rights is like a reverse tombstone almost. End of day. I don't know what it's called. He does it all the time in New Japan. I see it all the time, but he did it off a ladder through a table, and it was completely protected, which was good. He ended up getting the win. They played off a little bit with bringing in, they had 2 plastic bags out there. One had Hangman Page's boots, which he's been walking without lately, because these were the boots apparently that I've watched Being the Elite. So these are the boots that have been talking to him after he killed Joey Ryan, quote, killed Joey Ryan. They had the phone from the hotel, which was what he killed Joey Ryan with. But basically they brought all this stuff out to only bring out they did this bit where it kind of felt like WrestleMania 20 when the Druids come out, but instead of being dressed in like your Druid gear, they were like penises. They were dicks. They were white dicks. Like 8 of them came out. And then you see Joey Ryan come out, and then, he comes out, he does his dance, and he beats the shit out of Hangman. And the dicks carry Hangman out, and, I am a little too old for the dick humor. I am, for sure. I didn't hate it because I've been watching Being the Elite, and I know what this is. I know Joey Ryan's whole gimmick. He even did the dick flip and everything like that, and it's not for me, but I don't know. It was too goofy. In hindsight, I wish this wouldn't have happened for various reasons, but this was a show wasn't all about wrestling. This was sports entertainment, and I just felt like they did sports entertainment the way it should be done. Again, the penis druids maybe not needed that on there, but that's just me. Jay Lethal versus Flip Gordon. So Jay Lethal came out there. They've been doing this whole skit on Being the Elite where pretty much anytime someone touches his shoulder, he turns into Black Machismo. So someone before he went out there hit him on the shoulder, so he came out as Black Machismo with the glasses. He even had, I believe, I heard that he had one of Macho Man's old jackets. He came out there with Lenny Poffo, who of course is Randy Savage's brother. Came out there with them. It's a cool presentation. You had Flip Gordon, who of course won the Battle Royal early in the night. He came out there with Brandy Rhodes. Brandy, who has been helping Flip the past, I would say, month and a half, 2 months, trying to get booked for All In. She's been like on his side, trying to get him booked, which is weird, with her being Cody's husband. The fact that Cody didn't want him booked on there, but yeah, she came out there with them, and they played off the whole Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat match. They were doing mannerisms from there. Basically came down to Jay Lethal gave him 3 elbow drops, 3 of the Macho Man elbow drops. He was able to kick out. He hulked up. He being Flip Gordon, he hulked up. But it came down to basically Jay Lethal giving the lethal injection to Flip Gordon. He ended up retaining the ROH World Championship. I thought it was a fine match. I didn't have any issues with it. I thought it was entertaining. The stuff that Black Machismo did with Brandy, where he was acting like she was Elizabeth and trying to bring her back to the to his side or whatnot. And I thought it was pretty entertaining. We had Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr., which this is pretty much, I don't know if this is the match everyone was looking forward to. This was pretty much a dream match, and I thought this match was delivered, and it was just a very, very entertaining match. Kenny ended up winning with the One-Winged Angel. Just a lot of crazy spots in there. I mean, this is I want to say it lived up to the hype. I wish they got a little bit longer time, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes more. But I enjoyed, all that they put out there, and it was just a really cool sight to see. I mean, I feel like, if you've seen a Kenny Omega match, if you've seen a Pentagon Jr. match, you know exactly what to expect. And it was that, plus a little bit more. And I thought this was probably the match of the night as far as like in-ring work. It wasn't my favorite match. Again, I think I would go with Cody and Nick Aldis, but this was still a very entertaining thing to see. Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll. The whole gimmick behind this was the fact that Okada was basically saying that he was going to give Scurll like his last, hurrah, I guess, before getting signed with WWE and going to 205 Live. Scurll being upset that no one gave him any chance of winning this match. You had, before he came out, a little backstage skit where basically, I don't know if they have names. I think they do, but basically if you pay attention, it is Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson behind the camera in these like funny voices, and they basically, I guess, like the bookers or whatever on there. And I think it's really entertaining, like the fact that, these guys who are doing this gimmick, they don't curse on camera because, I guess they don't want their families and everyone seeing them curse, but they play these like alter ego, what do you call it? Powers that be almost. But anyway, they were basically telling Scroll how, like, everyone knows how this match is gonna go. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna look really good, you're gonna come close to winning, and then you're gonna lose. And that's, I think, how myself and everyone who anticipated this match thought things were gonna go. And he did the finger break spot with all of them, and I thought that was pretty entertaining as well. But yeah, this is exactly how it went. So from what I've read, this match went way longer than it should have. Okada matches go long, and that's just because he likes to build his stuff up. And I don't put the blame on anybody with this, to be honest with you, because the match was awesome. It took a little time to get the crowd into it, but if you watch Okada matches like I do, you know that time is when it flips the script. It's going to come, and it definitely came, and it was entertaining. Marty he got a brain buster on Okada. He got the chicken wing, crossface chicken wing, a couple times on Okada. Okada ended up winning with 2 rainmakers, I want to say. But it was a tremendous match for sure, and this is something we never get in New Japan. I don't know if the changing of the guard will come now. The fact that New Japan will see, like, yo, maybe a junior guy can mix it up with a heavyweight guy now, and I don't know. I feel like that should be the way. You don't have to do it all the time because, of course, they have their own divisions, but I feel like that should be something that should be looked at, where you can be like, okay, the juniors can get in there and mix it up with the heavyweights, and it'd be a really entertaining match, because I feel like this was showed off completely. Again, they went a little bit longer than need be. I just remember once Okada got that win, it was maybe 15 seconds after that, and they were like, we're going to the main event. We got the Golden Elite, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Kota Ibushi versus Rey Fenix, Bandito, and Rey Mysterio Jr. Unfortunately, this match got their time cut. And I just knew, I even tweeted it out, like, yo, you could just feel how rushed the show was being. I was like, yo, this match is going to go extremely fast. So if you like your spot fest, this was 100% that. There was no selling. There was just like, yo, let's go. But it was a tremendous match, and I wish we could have seen a little bit more of Rey Jr. and Kota Ibushi, because that was really exciting when they got in the ring and they were kind of mixing up. They only mixed up just for a little bit, but I wish we could have seen a little bit more than that. The Bucks ended up winning with the Meltzer driver. It sucks that they weren't able to get a little bit more time, more time than what they got, because I felt like if you would have given this the right amount of time, this could have been a amazing match. But again, for the time they were given, like 12 minutes or so, it was still a fantastic match. As soon as they got the pin, they went off air immediately. So yeah, like I said, I wish they timed this show out a little bit better. But I didn't even mention, man, holy moly, it's in the freaking screenshot that you see here. The Kenny Omega match, after he won, the lights went off maybe like 15 seconds after he won. They were off for about 30 seconds to come back up. And then, pretty much nothing's happening. Kenny Omega's just sitting there still celebrating like a geek. But then you see Pentagon step up. And if you pay attention at all, you can instantly see that dumbass tattoo that Chris Jericho has now. You saw that tattoo, and basically you knew it was him. And basically he popped up. He was in Pentagon Jr. garb. He unmasked to show everybody. He basically said, I see you on the Jericho cruise, because they're doing that cruise. We're in September now, so it's next month, in October. So basically like, kind of building up for that, which was cool. I mean, I don't really... Chris Jericho in New Japan is not really exciting to me. I really wish Chris Jericho would go to Impact. I think that would be a lot better for him and for Impact, and I just think that would be the better thing to do. But I have no issues with him being there. We'll see what happens on this cruise, but he showed up. I don't know if I'm missing any surprises from the night. But again, as far as the show itself, I thought the show was tremendous. I was very happy to be able to order the show and be able to watch it. Very excited for a lot of my friends and everyone that went to Chicago for the show. It was tremendous. We'll see if they do an All-In 2. I wouldn't think that they wouldn't next time. I mean, if the momentum continues with these guys, with the Bullet Club, with Kenny Omega and everybody, I think next time, I mean, I would say doing it in the same place, doing Chicago, but I would say maybe run that United Center. That's a venue that WWE does not run, and they can get a lot of people in there. And to put on like the biggest indie show in that building would be a very, very high feat for them. So the business is changing. This was the first step. I wouldn't say the first step, but this was one of the steps, one of the necessary steps for it to happen. And I was very excited. Like I said, this was probably my favorite show of the year. It wasn't the best, but it was probably my favorite show of the year. And yeah, man, I was very happy at the end of this show. And that's, I think, as a promoter, a company, that's what you should want your fans to be, is happy. You shouldn't want them to go on Twitter and sit there and argue with each other about what was bad and this and that. And I don't think you got that at all. I don't think one person who watched this show, unless they going in there with bad intentions or going in there with a mentality where like they weren't going to enjoy the show, I don't think anyone hated on this thing. So All In to me was a success. I'm excited to see the kind of business that it did, the kind of business that it brought in. But if anything, what I saw from all the text and the tweets and the pictures, I think everything kind of went through great and then some. So All In was awesome. I recommend going to see it, fighttv.com or fight.tv or Honor Club or New Japan. I believe just put it up today, so you can go on there, New Japan World, to be able to see it. But just check the show out. It was definitely amazing. I would say that, and I'm very, as a wrestling fan, I am very appreciative of what Cody and the Young Bucks and everyone that was involved who put the show on, Ring of Honor who put the show on. Very much excited for this. So it's made me excited for the next big step for them, which will be the Madison Square Garden show, which that's still not for another 6 or 7 months. But I will be there. Can't wait. But yeah, if you watched All In, let me know what you think about it. I mean, even if you didn't like it, I mean, you can let me know that. That's not a problem, because of course everyone's not going to like everything on there. So let me know what you like. Let me know what you hated. But I, from one, very happy at the end of the show, and I enjoyed pretty much everything that I saw. So that's that. Until then, Instant Classic 8. Peace.